What's good, guys? Here's part 2 of how self-improvement changed my life. Again, if you haven't seen part 1, go down, click his link. It's gonna be in the description. But time back to part 2 real quick. Like that whole time of grade 10 and grade 9, and me kind of just going through the phase of learning who the fuck I was. I wasn't depressed. I was kind of happy. It was just a lot of overstimulation and the seek of attention and trying to fit into places I didn't even really belong or places I didn't want. Other than that, I was a fairly happy kid. But here we enter like phase 2 of that grade 10 first year of high school. I said there's 2 parts to it, and this was like everything else before these months. Like a few months before these 2 months, it's kind of a blur, because these 2 months were kind of the hardest months of my life. I lost my grandma, my grandma, like my step grandma, but she's still my grandma. I lost her February 10th of 2019. I was at school in the gym, and I received a text saying I'm sorry for your loss. I thought it was just one of those bot texts. I didn't really realize. Then I went into the hall, and then I saw my sister, and she was crying. It was the first period of class, and she was crying. I said, "What's wrong?" And then she just gave me a hug and said, "Grandma's gone." And in that moment, I was being strong, like, for her, right? But as soon as she said, "I'm gonna go to class now," because I was just hugging her for like, maybe we were just hugging for like a minute or 2 minutes, 3 minutes, maybe. She was just crying. After that, I went and I sat in the stadium of my gym. Like, there's a gym stadium, then there was a gym inside, and I just stood on those, and I just started bawling tears, man. That was the first loss I've ever experienced within the family. Someone I was really, really close like that. So, yeah. That was an obstacle to come over, and 2 weeks passed. Whole family except for my mom, the whole family ended up going to Jamaica for my grandma's funeral, and we were there. It kind of felt like a little bit of a vacation for a bit, other than the funeral part. The funeral was in the beginning, and then after, it kind of felt like a little bit of a vacation. It was cool, but again, in that whole time, like, you gotta remember, I was addicted to pornography still. I had low confidence issues. So I go there. I don't really know how to really interact with family, interact with people there. I'm still a little awkward, shy kid. I'm figuring out ways to get pornography without Wi-Fi. And I'll be 100% honest, I did it. I went to extremes. I don't know how I did it, but I did it. It's crazy what the human brain can do, and like it was insane. Like, found Wi-Fi, screen recorded, saved to notes, locked notes, had a password, locked the password note so nobody can find it. Like, dude, it was messed up. Okay, but while we were there, went to her funeral, and yeah, it was like one of the hardest months of my life. And I ended up seeing one of the men I look up to, my stepfather, crying. Like, and the whole journey, the whole trip there, I can just see him, like, slowly deteriorating his strength. The closer he got to his mom, as in, like, the closer he got to his mom's body in his hometown. Obviously, a lot of thoughts were probably coming back to him during that time, and I couldn't imagine losing a mother. I simply could not imagine losing a mother. But like I said, my dad was battling cancer from the end of grade 9, or from the end of grade 9 to mid grade 10. And while I was in Jamaica for the funeral of my grandma, the last day we were there, we went to the beach. I ended up getting some access to Wi-Fi. I went on Snapchat, and I seen on my sister's story that said, "Fly high, Dad, you will be missed," or something like that. And immediately I was like, "What the fuck?" Called them right away, and they were crying instantly. So I knew what was up. I knew it was wrong, and I was just bawling. And my little sister was there. My little sister was like, I think I know what's wrong. This is Dad. And I kind of went off to the side, and I was just crying. And they told me, Dad's gone. To anyone who ever lost a parent like that, or lost their father or their mother, I'm 100% sure you can understand. And as a 15-year-old kid, I didn't really know what to do. But in hindsight, like, I went to Jamaica for the funeral of my grandma, and while I was there, my dad passed away. As a 15-year-old kid, I didn't really know how to kind of react. Right? I ended up just crying. We went to the beach, and I was looking in the water. I knew that I didn't say anything to anybody. I was crying in the taxi. I wiped my tears. People asked what's wrong. I said, "I'm just tired." I pushed it to the side, act like nothing happened. But I swear for that whole week, 2 3 weeks, I didn't even smile, man. I swear, I swear I didn't even smile. But I was at the beach and I just staring into the water, and I've always had this mindset of kind of like getting into my own head and just kind of letting things go. I'm not saying I let go of it that first day. I didn't. It took me almost 2 years to not get rid of the feeling of just kind of accept the fact that my father was gone, that my father passed away. But yeah, so I was just staring into the water and I was just kind of talking to him, really. And now tears almost run down my eyes, but in the moment, not really much tears have running down my eyes, or just kind of acceptance. And yeah, so I end up flying back home. And one of my darkest secrets is this, man. And that same night that I figured out that my dad, the same day and the night that my dad passed away, that I figured out he passed away, I watched pornography. How fucking disgusting. How fucking disgusting, man. Like if I saw that kid, bro, like I would kill him. I would kill him, bro. Literally, I would strangle you, bro. I would strangle you. Genuinely. But yeah, I ended up flying back, and I seen a lot more negative effects of pornography because I wasn't able to interact with my family members whatsoever. I locked myself in my basement with my video games and my weed. My weed and my pornography and music. I locked myself in the basement at the top of my stairs because I didn't know how to socially interact with people. I didn't really know how to show emotion. I didn't smile. And I just lost my dad, and that combined with marijuana addiction and porn addiction just wasn't good at all. And it left with this just negative, horrible mindset, right? And even before I left to Jamaica, my dad was experiencing like seizure-like episodes, and I was even hesitant to go. And I was like, I don't know. I don't know, but I still went to the funeral. I don't regret going to the funeral at all, but sometimes I do wish I was able to be there for the last moments of my father. But, yeah. One thing I won't forget about that night was the night that we were coming back from the beach, and then I found out that my dad passed away, was just the conversation I had with my stepdad. It was just these crazy words of encouragement that I need. Obviously, I started dripping tears and whatever, but I just didn't. It was perfect. It was exactly what I needed. And then he said, I just lost my mom, and we were kind of just related in that whole time period. We related, and we still kind of do relate to having the loss of a parent. And obviously, he's way older, and he kind of understands that people go, and I was just a little baby, right? But yeah, again, like I said, leading up to that funeral, I didn't really know how to interact with my family members, and I honestly was experiencing all the negative effects of pornography with just low social skills, anxiety, depression. This interlocked with weed and loss and trauma and grief. I just didn't really know who the fuck I was. And my grandma asked me at one point leading up to the funeral of my dad, saying, "Well, what role are you going to play in the funeral?" And I simply just said, "I'm good." Like the lack of constant confidence, and I don't know. I honestly just can't describe what was going through my head at that point. Like I was just scared. I was scared to talk on stage. Maybe I don't know. It's one of my biggest regrets is not talking at my dad's funeral. I didn't even participate. The only thing I did, I was a pallbearer, so I carried his coffin. I carried his casket and I laid it onto the thing before they dropped it in. That's what I did. I didn't, I wish I was able to hop on stage and say how much that man changed my life, but in reality, I didn't know. I didn't know how much he changed my life until he was like fully gone. Because even when the day he died, I didn't know. I didn't accept the fact that he was gone. I've heard a song, "Loved Ones" by Mobb Deep or something like that. It's like you never understand love until you lost one, and that's facts. That's facts. See, that's just straight up facts. Lost my father. Ended up coming back to school, and this is kind of phase 3 of that 10th grade. There's 3 phases to this year. This is literally the worst year of my life. I ended up returning to school, and nobody engaged with me anymore. Nobody engaged with me at school anymore. Like my closest friends didn't even pull up and be like, "Yo, you good? I'm sorry for your loss." My closest friends, even the ones that I say that I met in grade 7, they did not come to me and say, "Yo, what's good?" Like if my homie lost a dad, bro, I would damn near give the guy a kiss on his forehead. No homo. That's exactly what I would do. But there were some people that came and said sorry for your loss, but those people I didn't even know. So that just says a lot. But yeah, it was just fucked up. It was just fucked up. And I've cried about it multiple times before, but I just kind of realized to just let it go. There's not like, you can't have high expectations for people. I was having a meeting with one of my previous business partners at Tim Hortons, and he was just saying like, you can't you can't have high expectations of others because you're always kind of gonna get let down. So if you lower those expectations and those people let you down, you're gonna be like, okay, I expected that anyways, right? But after all that kind of stuff, I started to watch more porn, play more video games, smoke more weed, and indulge into more video games and stimulation with Netflix. And summer was just around the corner too, so I was like, damn, I was damn near excited. I'm like, yes, sir, we're about to have the best summer of our life. Fortnite, Pornhub, video games, candy, popcorn. My mom worked at McDonald's, so I got McDonald's every time she came home. She worked night shift, so I was ready in the morning. She dropped off McDonald's, spaghetti, pasta, bro. It was a blast for the first month. Then my life started going downhill. It downhill. Like I started then becoming really, really conscious of how I looked, how my face looked. I thought my face was like really, really messed up. I was conscious of my body, conscious of the way I built, the way I was built, the way clothes fit me, all of this stuff, the way I was treated, the tonality that my family talked to me in. Like I thought they hated me based off the way that they talked to me. And if people stared at me, I started making all these negative thoughts of why they were staring at me. Maybe it's because of this. Maybe my hairline's messed up. Maybe my teeth is wrong. Is my nose messed up? Is one eye bigger than the other? It's because my clothes fit me weird. I know I should never wear this sweater. Like, what the fuck? No, you're not that important. Nobody cares about you that much. Why are you having these thoughts? That's kind of what was going through my head. But in grade 10 summer, all that overthinking and weed and all that stuff, it kind of brought me to a conclusion. Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, I think weed helped me in a good and bad way. It brought me to a conclusion. It's like, dang, maybe I need to lose weight. Maybe I'm a fat fuck. And I did it. And all of a sudden, I was just like, shit, I need to lose weight. So I didn't drop the games actually, but I dropped the junk food, and I just said I'm gonna lose weight before grade 11 hits, and I did it. I ended up filling up a jug of water, getting real fucking serious, watching as much fitness videos as I can to figure out what tutorial, building my routine in my bedroom. I hit the basketball court and I started doing massive amounts of cardio, bike rides, runs around the field, basketball for like 45 minutes, just and I lost like about probably like 15 pounds. So like on an external point, there was a lot of notice and a lot of people seeing, damn, this guy kind of changed. And yeah, this again led to another dark, deep depression of my life. Only fixating on one aspect of self-improvement is going to leave a large lack and a large gap in the others, which we'll see. You'll just see how important it is to just have a holistic point of view, and we'll get into that in part 3.